So today we are going to test the Sprint Booster version 3, I think, Ultimate Control. This is the new one that has the valet mode and the parking mode that turns off your pedal or turns it down to like 50%. I'm excited to try this because I'm skeptical of these, and I would like to finally get to try one to see if it's something that I'm interested in personally. Johnston Research And Performance, JRP, out of Toronto, hooked me up with this to test, so big thanks to them. So we're going to see what this thing is like. We're going to install it in my E46 BMW 325i, and we're going to give it a go. The roads are super slippery today, but it's there's some dry areas that I can test it out. So let's install it and give it a go. Okay, so there's a little clip down here that we have to remove. Now, not remove, but like lift as we slide. Ouch. Oh, okay, there we go. Sweet. Now, we gotta connect the male end to there. Okay, it's a zip tie. Got our instruction manual, not gonna read that. That's because I don't. Ultimate Control. Okay, so we have, here's the controller, which gets connected to it, I would imagine. And here's the actual device itself. So this is going to go in between those two, because that's literally the only thing that would actually do anything, obviously. Okay. How does this work? Okay, that goes there. I'm going to disconnect. Oh, okay, there we go. Alright, now we take the Sprint Booster attachment. And this guy here is going to go in this way. Yep, click. And this one here is going to go there. Okay. Now, the controller attaches to that little guy right there. Clip that way. Now this gets reinstalled, and this is going to want to stay here. Now there's little ridges here that go in those ridges there, so we're going to make sure they get back in. There's a little pin here and a little hole for it over there, so we've got to make sure that gets back in. Okay, so it can't lift up from the bottom and it can't lift up from the top. That's how you check it. Okay, now that I suppose can be in a better spot than this, but for the time being, let's just kind of hook it under. Might be a little space under there actually that it could sit. But let's just keep it off to the side for now so we can actually test it. Good. Okay, so I've got the Sprint Booster installed and we're driving around. I've got it in 5 and red, which I believe means race because the throttle is ridiculous. We're on snow right now. I just literally touched the throttle and it redlined immediately. We're about to get onto some dry tarmac. Sorry for the bad audio, by the way. And okay, I'm stuck on snow. Come on, road. There we go. Holy. Yeah, so that's awesome. It makes the car feel so much faster than it actually is. It's just cranking open the throttle body with like just the tiniest touch of throttle. So it just kicks you back in the seat. In the top end, the car isn't any faster when you get it up. It's not making the car faster, it's making it feel faster, which is kind of fun. Oh, hey, there's something that I didn't actually think about. I'm very skeptical about these things because they don't actually do anything to the power. But what I did just do was realize that it blips the throttle for a downshift way easier. Much less throttle input is required to actually get the revs up to where they need to be. Okay, so red and number 5 is a little bit too much for the street. It's really torquey. If you're going flat out to flat out and downshifts on a track, I can see that being a good thing, but let's put it into green. Are we off? Okay, we went to number 3 in green. Must have some sort of a memory. Actually, yeah, that's much more manageable. So that's green, I think means sport, or I haven't read the instructions, that was intentional. Green must mean like a sport of some kind. Red usually means race in cars, right? So green is a little bit less aggressive, but more aggressive than stock throttle mapping. So let's try in the middle of the road in the sport setting. Okay. Oh yeah, that's much more manageable for the street. Still spinning the tires because I have no grip. Yeah, so the car still feels torqueier, it feels more aggressive. It's still really easy to rev. But much more manageable for the street. I was messing up throttle inputs in race mode. Okay, that's pretty cool. In my brain, all I said, like, okay, well, if it just remaps the throttle, then why don't I just put my foot down earlier and harder and it will open the throttle all the way? But it's not actually quite that simple, as I've just found out. Because it doesn't just open the throttle body sooner, it opens it quicker, okay? So in the stock throttle mapping, if you stamp your foot down in an area of your engine where you have a lot of torque, it does this with the throttle body. It goes whoop, right? So even though you stood on the throttle all the way to full throttle, it doesn't snap the throttle body open. This does. Now this would be a good idea to mount somewhere. I haven't mounted it. If I was going to though, since just the location of it, I would go through kind of the steering plastic column cover there and up right beside the radio, and I would mount it right down there. But for the time being, it's just gonna sit here. Now I'm gonna push the center sprint button again and see what that does. Okay, that goes back to number 5 and race mode. If I push it again, it goes off. Push it again, it goes back to 3. Now I'm gonna push the number up with these little side arrows on here. Okay, and now we're in sport mode number 5. Let's see what that feels like. Yeah, it's still aggressive. It's still noticeably more aggressive than the stock throttle mapping, but if I push this again, we go to 5 in the race mode. All right, from the same RPM, 3rd gear, 4,000 RPM. Yeah, okay, so it just gets the power going a little bit quicker. So this is an interesting concept. This is a debate that I read on some forums, on E46 Fanatics and stuff like that, about how all it does is it just remaps the throttle. So in theory, the last like third of your throttle pedal movement isn't doing anything anymore because full throttle is at halfway. I don't actually know if it's quite that simple. It seems like what it does is it opens the throttle body quicker. So if you want access to full throttle now, it gives it to you, as opposed to like waiting for a few seconds after you put your foot down. I think on downshifts is where I like it the most, because you blip the throttle and it takes less throttle to blip it so that you can do your downshift. If you're heel towing, that might actually make a difference. Now in a track situation, so if you're actually talking about setting times, you could argue that this could shave off a couple tenths here and there, because there's no gap between when you apply throttle coming out of a corner and when the throttle body opens all the way. Okay, so you could make that argument, and I think that the benefit for me would be easier downshifts. You're less likely to mess up a downshift by missing the throttle pedal or not hitting it far enough in, right? It doesn't take much of a tap, especially when you're heel towing and you're in a weird position, to get the right amount of throttle movement for the next gear. Yeah. I do like this. I do like this very much, actually. I won't lie, it makes the car feel faster, so that makes me a happy guy. Okay, so the sprint booster, that's pretty cool. I'm going to test the valet mode in a second. Okay, so we are going to go into lock mode now. Figured out how to do it. Hold these two down. Oops, I need to be in, sorry, LED off mode. Hold the two buttons down. It's going to give me, I select lock, put in my pin, 1, 1, 1, and I wait for L to stop flashing. Okay, L has stopped flashing. So if I push the pedal, oh, that's creepy. Car's on, pushing the pedal, nothing happens. So if you were gonna leave your car somewhere and someone, you know, worried about someone stealing it, you lock this out, you have a code. That's cool. Okay, let's see if I can get out of this so I can move. All right, we are in valet mode, and the car feels pretty sluggish. It's still quick. It's not like cutting the power in half or anything, unless I did it wrong. Might have done it wrong. But yeah, it feels a lot more sluggish. It's difficult to really get any power out of it at all, actually. That's weird. You're good if you want to have someone else drive your car on the track and you don't, you're worried about what they're going to do with it. That could be handy, actually. Or if you want to teach someone how to drive and you've got a powerful car, that would be a good idea. Okay, so there you have it, back home. I really like this thing. Figured out how to get it out of valet mode, so we're back to normal, insane throttle response in the race mode, which I really do like. Thanks again to Johnston Research And Performance, JRP, for hooking me up with this. Definitely something that I am happy that I tried, because I was skeptical about these, but I'm pretty much sold on them. I think definitely if you do a lot of aggressive driving or you just want your car to feel faster, this is something to consider. At least try it. See if you can find someone who has it in their car and try it out, because I bet you'll like it. I was skeptical too, but I'll bet you like it, okay? So there it is. If you have any comments, leave them in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys later, okay? Bye-bye.